Yo, what's going on YouTube? Smolder here, and I just want to give my thoughts after finally finishing Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, which is the remaster of one of the greatest games of all time. Obviously, easily one of the greatest games from the PS1 era. I'm just going to talk about the game kind of freely. If there's any spoilers, I mean, the game's over 30 years old, or about 30 years old. When did it come out? 98? 99? Something like that? Okay, 25 plus years old. I hate this. I want to leave it on the screen. Alright, I'm just gotta kind of do this. But this game, this remaster rendition of the game is now, I would say, is the definitive version to play the game. I hadn't played the game since the PSP launch of War of the Lions version, and I didn't finish it. I got towards the end of Chapter 3 during that playthrough, and other than that, I played it one time on the PS1, maybe like in 2000, I would say. 99 or 2000, around there. Those are the only times I played the game. So when I was playing this time, it was definitely more of, I treated it, at least from the story perspective and a lot of the progression perspective, as blind. I did look up some things because I want to get the Platinum Trophy. I have a couple things left I need to grind for, but I'm not going to stream that. One of them being is I just got to get every single job ability on one character. The voice acting. Let's talk about like the big first thing that's like really massively huge in this. The game is completely voice acted. It is incredible. Unfortunately, the only voice actor I'm aware of is Ben Starr. But huge props to everybody involved. Obviously, whoever voices... I think the guy who voices Delita is primo. Rams is pretty good as well. A lot of the other characters. He just adds so much... I don't want to sound weird. So much gravitas to the weight of the game and the story. And the story feels much more impactful. This is a very deep, dark game. Political, sad, but also heroic. This game is deep, obviously, from the mechanics and the story. Mechanics wise, I don't think anything's really changed. It's much easier to be able to see the order of how to unlock all the jobs, but I mean, you can always just go online and look that up anyway. But there's like a new grid system that you can look at in the menu. It's great. I will say it is very easy to kind of cheese farm if you're trying to get like certain items from treasure hunting or poaching or stealing items, because of the autosave feature. The game autosaves after every action. Enemies count as one action, but every action of your units counts as it's an individual action, and the game autosaves. And so, like, if it's your turn and you choose to, you steal, you fail, oh, reload the last autosave, because it'll just restart right before you hit steal. And you just keep trying over and over and over and over until you get it. Or same thing with, like I said, treasure hunting or poaching. For me personally, as somebody who's trying to get the platinum, incredible. But I think this game just proves that 25 plus years later, there have been very few games that have been able to capture this type of RPG, this type of strategy RPG. I do think Fire Emblem is close, and some people probably might argue that it is better in a lot of senses, but I think the pacing of Tactics is great, right? You don't actually like roam the world, you don't run around towns or anything like that. You just go from point A to point B, story beat, combat. You know, you spend your little bit of time just in the shop menus, and then in your job menus and all of that. Story beat, combat, story beat, combat, boom, 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 boom. There's no time wasted of roaming around. And some people might find that as, oh man, you know, but whatever. It works in this game. I'm trying to think of other like tactical RPGs that have been around that I've played that I enjoyed. The first one I played was not Tactics. It was Shining Force on the Genesis, and that is one of my favorite games of all time as well. That game though does have traversal and roaming around and stuff, but kind of similar. Much more Fire Emblem-y though, I think. Obviously, there's Fire Emblem. There was the whole Disgaea franchise. I believe there was one game by the Disgaea guys that was like, because Disgaea is all demon side, and there was one that was angel side. I can't remember what that one was called. There've been some other games that have tried to capture the magic of like what Tactics does, but I feel like nothing really quite has. And I don't think it's because it's Final Fantasy. You know, sure, there's obviously the Final Fantasy flair, there's the summoner class with all the summons, chocobos, there's the music. But at the end of the day, this could have been called anything, and I think this game still would have been a cult classic. Maybe I shouldn't say cult classic, because then this is definitely not a cult classic. This is just a straight classic, one of the greatest games I've ever made. And sure, the Final Fantasy name does carry weight, but I still think the game would have been incredible and sold really well and very popular over the years, even if it wasn't Final Fantasy. My biggest complaint slash, sad panda-ness with this game is that it does not have the War of the Lions content, which means there was no Balthier, there's none of those extra missions and stuff like that. Towards the later part of the game, they're all gone, but the game does use all the War of the Lions translation, and that's what they used for all the voice acting and everything. I guess there was like almost like some internal political stuff as the reason why. I guess the War of the Lions crew didn't... There was something with... They were different than the original team that made the original Tactics, and so this version, the Ivalice Chronicles, is from the original team, and they wanted their original vision here. And that did not include the War of the Lions content. They went ahead and took the translations, because that's just a more accurate translation of their game. But, yeah. I played this on the PS5. I know it's also on literally every platform. This game, if you can play it, play it. This game's incredible. It's timeless. Anyways, guys, that's Tactics, man. I think I put in like 70-something hours. Can I see, actually, from here? No, that just tells me my, my other time. Bummer. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you played Tactics, what'd you think? Have you played this version of Tactics? Which version of Tactics have you played? Only OG? War of the Lions? This one? Let me know, man. I played this on Tactician, hardest difficulty, which pretty much felt like the OG difficulty of the game, which is where it should be. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video for the next, games that I've been playing. 2025 is just... 2025 does not miss when it comes to games. Alright, peace.